Dr. Jere here with Mills Chiropractic and Wellness Center, and this month we've been focused mostly on the neck. And as we can kind of wrap this month up, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about arthritis and the disc of the neck in particular, and kind of how that relates to arthritis. Because a lot of people either know or been told or are concerned that they have arthritis in the neck. And the truth is, you know, a lot of us do have arthritis in our neck. In fact, when I got into chiropractic school, we had to do full spine x-rays, and one of the things that was very shocking to me, and at this point I'm like 23 years old, but I was already developing stage 2 degeneration in my neck at the age of 23. Now, my mom has never admitted to dropping me as a baby, although, you know, there's certainly some people that would question that, but I was born with forceps, so I wonder if that's what kind of started this pathway that led to some of this degeneration. Like I said, by the age of 23, typically it takes 20 to 30 plus years to get to stage 2, so the fact that I was showing it so young, you know, certainly is a bit concerning. Now the good news is, you know, I used to have daily headaches, and it used to be a common thing for me, but luckily, you know, I've been able to do some things. I obviously went through chiropractic school, got some great care and some not so good care from the other students right as we're learning, but I've been able to head a lot of those problems off so that they don't become, you know, bigger and bigger issues for me, hopefully, is certainly the goal. And so one of the things that happens with arthritis and with the neck in particular is that we'll have an injury. Now, there's lots of things that go on. Our eyes always have to stay level to the horizon, and so our body will tilt and twist and turn and do these things to try to make sure that we're sitting level. But as it does that, it causes us to load joints unevenly, or maybe we have stress all the time. We have all this tension, and that squeezes down on the joints, and particularly the disc, and causes them to expand or dehydrate or get dehydrated, and it limits our movement. Regardless of what the cause is, there's hundreds of causes, but the kind of, if we boiled it down, the simplest thing that happens is that we lose movement. And as we lose movement, basically what happens is we stop feeding the disc as well, and we stop feeding the joint. Joints, they require motion and they require movement to pump their nutrition in and to pump their waste products out. They don't get a great blood supply, right? And so if we're not moving, we're not pumping that nutrition and pumping that waste products out. And that's basically what I do as a chiropractor, right? As I restore that movement, we try to get that area to free up and you know, remove some of those adhesions and untwist the body so they can have a fuller range of motion, so that you, as you move and as you're moving better, are able to rehydrate and heal those discs, hopefully, so that we can head off some of these problems. You know, it's said that we get old and stiff, but in reality, what we really know from the research is that we get stiff and then get old, right? And so, you know, I want you to really focus this week on, you know, are you moving through full ranges of motion? Are you taking posture breaks? Are you feeding the spine? Are you flexible? Are you able to turn and check the blind spots and do all those things? Because a lot of times those are our warning signs that, you know, hey, we're headed down a road here and we're becoming greater risk of injury. But on top of that, we are degenerating. Like, there's no, we might be, if you don't have a full range of motion, and a joint is not moving completely through it, you are degenerating. Now, there's certainly things we want to do to try to slow that down. The first thing we want to do is to get you moving, right? And so today's kind of takeaway is movement is key, right? And you've heard me say this over and over and over again, and I sound like a broken record, I know, but it really is when you boil down the science of arthritis. And so, you know, to circle back to the arthritis part of it, when we stop moving, we stop feeding the joint, right? And as we stop feeding the joint, the cells in there start dying faster than they can replace, and we become dehydrated in the joint, and that's how we lose joint space. And that's what we see on an x-ray is that joint space loss, which we call arthritis. And as we continue to move less, because as a smaller joint we have less movement, we feed the joint even less, and therefore it becomes smaller, so we have less movement, so we feed it even less, right? And you can see how this becomes a very vicious cycle. And so, key takeaway, as I said, just move, right? All right. I hope you got something from today. Stay tuned next week as we dive even deeper into whatever topic we choose. So anyway, stay healthy, stay well.